Good morning, everyone, and welcome once again to the Pete Torre Business Hour. Today, we are extremely excited to have one of the icons of entrepreneurship and business in South Florida with us this morning. And I'm talking, of course, of Manny Medina, founder and managing partner of Medina Capital, and, of course, the founder of Emerge Americas. And we're going to have him on in a moment. And, of course, he is the recipient the 2015 Lifetime Achievement Award for the FIU's Hall of Fame. And we're going to talk a lot about the Hall of Fame and, of course, Emerge Americas and the things that Manny is working on and some of his most exciting and intriguing projects. But without further ado, it is my pleasure to bring on to the program a good friend of mine and, again, a true leader and icon in our community, Mr. Manny Medina. Welcome, Manny.
Hey, Pete. Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, we have been trying for a long time to get you on the program here, and it doesn't matter when we get you. The fact that you're on with us this morning is an honor, and we're excited. And I know we only have a short time to speak this morning, but there's so much that I want to talk about. But I want to set this all up by sharing with the audience regarding the FIU Business Hall of Fame. And, in fact, FIU's College of Business established the Hall of Fame Awards back in 1999 to recognize alumni who achieved distinction as founders and builders of new business enterprises. Today's Hall of Fame has expanded to include successful business alumni who have distinguished themselves in their respective fields and have made a positive impact in the community. The awards demonstrate their ongoing commitment to celebrate the many accomplishments of all of their alumni and supporters. And the celebration this year, which will be in the month of October, will also include a weekend full of activities and alumni, and also inviting many, many friends of the university. Manny, the first thing I need to tell you is congratulations.
Thank you very much, Pete. For me, it's a great honor indeed to be recognized by one of the most important institutions in our community. I've been a great fan of FIU. And, of course, the work that they've done in our community speaks for itself. And for me to have been selected among so many worthy recipients in our community is probably one of the biggest honors of my entire career. So I'm indeed very, very honored and humbled to have been selected by the College of Business for this Lifetime Achievement Award. Particularly since I'm not an alumnus, right? They actually picked somebody out of FIU, which is even more important for me that they actually extended out and chose me. So I'm very, very pleased.
Well, if I would have been in that committee, I would have said, Manny is the obvious recipient. And I think it's Lifetime Achievement Awards of all the great things you've done to this point. But the fact of the matter is that you are out there with your sleeves rolled up and you are out there making it happen today. And I don't think you're going to be stopping anytime soon.
No, that's the only negative about this Lifetime Achievement Award is that I'm only getting warmed up, right?
Yeah.
This is only the top of the third inning, right? So, no, all kidding aside, yes, no, absolutely, we're very, very active, and of course, FIU has been a great partner with us in launching Emerge Americas, which has been phenomenal from day one. They have been, like you, Pete, have been on board, and and it's great to have that kind of partnership.
Well, again, I think that it's an easy thing for so many of us because of what you represent and what you're doing here. And I know that, and we'll talk more about Emerge Americas in a moment, but that is something that I know that through your many years and just really your observation of the marketplace and what's going on, especially here in South Florida, it is when you're tuned in, amazing things happen, and then it becomes contagious. And then the rest of us want to be on board and contribute in whatever way we possibly can. And it's like you said, we were there last year when it all started and had the pleasure of doing our show from there on site and returned this year, of course. And you almost doubled the attendance, which was incredible. But before we get into more of Emerge Americas, I know that there's a very exciting and personal project that you've been involved with, which is called Aquarius. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, Aquarius is an unbelievable, incredible habitat on the water. Actually, I've been diving and fishing my entire life in the Florida Keys, and I didn't even know that it existed. And about a couple of years ago, Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart invited me. He's an avid diver like me, and he invited me to go down to Aquarius, and they were about to decommission. And this is an unbelievable place because it's the only place where scientists can literally live underwater for extended periods of time in order for them to study and do scientific studies of some of the biggest risks that our oceans are having. So, and it was being managed by the University of North Carolina and NOAA, and they were about to decommission it. And so I got involved and brought it to the attention of FIU and the oceanography program, which is an unbelievable program. And FIU, with a lot of help, ended up taking it over. And today, I mean, one of the most incredible missions was recently this summer where Jacques Cousteau's great-grandson actually spent 31 days on the water. And the ability for you to be able to stay down there without having to come up and decompress and et cetera, makes it possible for you to have these incredible results. So we were very, very proud. Our family foundation was very proud to help FIU in this incredible undertaking. Particularly I feel, Pete, that I've taken so much out of the ocean. It's given me and my family and et cetera so much pleasure, and it's been such a big part of our life. I'd literally say that I have salt water in my veins. And for us to be able to help the Aquarius program has been one of the highlights of my entire life.
And these are the types of things, and you're setting an incredible example for so many of us, Manny, in giving back, and what we call social responsibility, in whatever way it is. We contribute, we work hard, we achieve, we grow our business, we grow our enterprises, and along that way, a lot of people help you, and also situations help you to get there. And when you do get to that plateau of saying, I've achieved a lot of successes here, how can I start giving back? And that's a mindset that I think so many folks still have not adopted yet.
I'll tell you, though, I will tell you something that it was very important, and this I totally give credit to my parents. We came from a very modest background, but my parents taught me very early on, and my sister, to give back. I mean, even when we were kids, going to the orphanage and giving back groceries. He had a grocery store, and they embedded that in us. And as I grew older, I found, and I say this to kids all the time, you don't have to wait. You don't need to wait to reach whatever goal you think you're going to reach in order to begin giving back. You should really begin giving back now, because there's a lot of people that are less fortunate than you, and there's a lot to be done. So I think, and what I learned and what has come back is the more that I give back, the more that I get. It's kind of like really, I don't have a specific mathematical formula, but it's always happened in my life.
It is, and I think that what drives successful entrepreneurs is the intent to do something that's meaningful, that's impactful. Obviously, you help impact the economy. You help create jobs and opportunities for so many. But by the same token, there are parts of our society and things out there that are part of our world, and our life isn't 100% about business. I mean, you need to have a complete, rounded life and be able to enjoy it and give back in so many different ways. So I think that's a great advice you just shared right now. In fact, I had a representative from Miami Children's Hospital Foundation on the show yesterday that leads the Young Ambassadors, and what they talk about was giving back and helping others, especially starting at a very young age.
Yep, absolutely, 100%.
Manny, we need to go to a break in a couple minutes, but I want to, just start getting into this conversation regarding Emerge Americas, and let's kind of take this step by step a little bit, because I know that it's a movement. It isn't just about the event that you're holding every year. How were the early stages of Emerge Americas and your thought process, and as you started to look at this idea and start to grow on it?
Well, when as the public may know, we used to have a technology company that was headquartered here in Miami, a company called Torre that we sold to Verizon a few years ago. And one of the things that always frustrated me, being headquartered in Miami as a technology company, as a publicly traded technology company, is that Miami, when it came to technology, didn't get any respect. We were a great destination for shopping, for banking, for having fun, but it wasn't really something that people thought about Miami and technology, and it was very frustrating because it really made it very difficult to recruit, particularly top talent in highly sophisticated things like big data and cybersecurity, et cetera. And I always wanted to find a way to impact that, to begin changing that. At the same time that I was thinking about that, I noticed that there was no platform that served to exchange ideas between innovation, technology, particularly focusing on Latin America, Europe, and North America. All of the major platforms today, like whether it's South by Southwest, which happens in Austin, whether it's CES in Vegas, or whether it's the myriad of shows that happen in San Francisco, or whether it's the Mobile Congress in Barcelona, they all had different geographical focus. And I felt that there was a void for a platform that focused on our neighbors, right, on Latin America, Europe, and North America. And that was the genesis of the idea. We began thinking about, if we put it together, I think this platform is needed, and therefore that's when we launched the first Emerge Americas a couple of years ago.
Well, we're going to continue our conversation. We're here with Manny Medina, founder and managing partner, Medina Capital, and, of course, the founder of Emerge Americas. And we opened up with the fact that Manny will be the recipient of the 2015 Lifetime Achievement Award provided and given by FIU's Hall of Fame, and that's an incredible honor. We'll talk a little bit more about that before we wrap it up. We're speaking with one of the true business icons, and I think just a persons here in South Florida, Manny Medina, founder and managing partner of Medina Capital, and, of course, founder of Emerge Americas, and the recipient of the 2015 Lifetime Achievement Award presented by FIU's Hall of Fame. Manny, Emerge Americas, you just shared with us the beginning days and weeks of the idea, and obviously when you introduce something new to not just South Florida but the world, you just never know what's going to happen, how it's going to be received. But going back to a year ago when you had the first conference, I think we were all in agreement that it went far beyond expectations.
Absolutely, yeah. It surpassed our most optimistic expectations. And one of the things that as I evangelized this before the first event last year, one of the things that happened, Pete, though, was that the community came together. Mm-hmm. I mean, we spent a lot of time just reaching out to our major institutions like FIU, like Baptist Hospital, every University of Miami, all our the county, our businesses, and everybody understood that if this happened, it would be great for our community. So this just something that I thought about, but it would not have been possible without the gargantuan effort of the steering committee that came together and just worked so hard in bringing in, all the major sponsors. We were blessed, of course, the first year to have companies like IBM and SAP and companies like Hewlett-Packard and, of course, Facebook and all the Google, et cetera, embrace the idea. And it really, we never expected to have 6,000 people show up for the first year. And this year, to have or more than 10,000 people. We had over 50 countries represented, and it was just an incredible event. And it's very, very important for everybody out there listening. The event next year is April 18th and 19th. If you haven't visited Emerge, the last two events, you really are missing out on something, and I would encourage you to do that next year.
It is an amazing experience because it just covers so many important aspects of our world, of our business world today. And you spoke about innovation and technology and the startup community. And there's, you can feel the entrepreneur spirit when you're walking through the room, when you're talking to the participants, the attendees. The workshops that started last year went to a whole different level this year.
It was, and also, it's really a lot of fun, because like you say, right, you got young entrepreneurs coming literally from all over the world to Miami. Mm-hmm. And what is happening is that in a couple of short years, you begin thinking Miami innovation, Miami technology. Mm-hmm. Of course, this coupled with everything else that the Knight Foundation is doing and everything else, It's helped a lot. And, my good friend Pitbull, who was an ardent supporter from year one, and also this year, was there, kind of bringing everybody to their feet as he typically does. So besides being an event of just incredible innovation and spirit, entrepreneurial spirit, and international networking, etc., it's just a very energetic amount of fun.
Well, this has garnered so much attention that this year you had NBC Universal be a major part of the event.
And that made a significant difference, right? They broadcasted live the most iconic shows, CNBC, NBC itself, it was Telemundo, the digital properties, and they embraced the event. And so obviously for a second-year event, that was unheard of. And they're very excited about next year's event. So we expect them back in full force. And of course, with their monthly reach of over 140 million people, you put a whole different perspective on it. So we do expect, just think about it. Everything that we're discussing in Emerge Americas affects everybody, like you said, right? Social media, cybersecurity. I mean, everything that the revolutionary changes in healthcare, in the entertainment industry, it really affects our entire population. So we believe Emerge Americas could eventually be the most important event that South Florida has in bringing the world to our doors, if you will.
Two questions I want to ask you, Manny. Number one, what do you believe it can be the local impact here in South Florida for startups and new entrepreneurs, and not only that, but what kind of an impact do you believe that Emerge Americas can make on helping to create jobs in South Florida?
Well, I think the best benchmark that we can use, Pete, is what happens at South by Southwest, which is it's the event that inspired me to create Emerge Americas. South by Southwest happens in Austin, Texas. Great city. I love Austin. In fact, I'll be there Monday. But it's a small city compared to Miami, right? And Austin, the economic impact for Austin last year was $380, $400 million. Austin has become a hotbed of innovation. Of course, coupled with having the headquarters of major corporate tech companies like Dell, et cetera, in the area, and all of that is driven by this. So I think that Emerge Americas could have the significant impact of having tens of thousands of jobs, and not only just any kind of jobs.
Correct.
These are really high-paying jobs. Any tech-related job pays 30 to 40% more, right? So I mean, as now the FIUs and UMs and Miami-Dade and St. Thomas and Nova, et cetera, continue to really change their curriculum. One of the things that happens is all these universities coming together and beginning to talk to one another, and all of a sudden you're having specialties in cybersecurity and big data, and we're having our own graduates that they can find their jobs here without having to leave. So I think the economic impact of this could be quite phenomenal over the next few years.
Can we make South Florida a tech hub?
I think it's already becoming. It's not a matter of. I think it will already. I think we have so many advantages structurally, from our tax infrastructure to the internationalism, the fact that Latin America has now become a very important market for the tech giants. This is why they're so interested in Emerge Americas. If you think about the fact that 25% of Facebook's users are Latin American, right, and the fact that in Latin America, even though the internet penetration is only 50% compared to ours in the 80%, the use of social media in Latin America is 95%. So that resonates. They'll be buying almost $400 billion worth of IT infrastructure for next year. So all of those things coupled together with the community support that we've gotten, I think absolutely we will become a very important tech hub. We're well on our way there now.
Well, I along with events such as Art Basel, now Emerge Americas is front and center. And what Art Basel has meant for Miami in South Florida has all of the positives are you can't count them all in one hand, but the biggest one is the impact it's making on tourism, and of course Absolutely. Now Emerge Americas is a big part of all of the record-breaking numbers we've had the last couple years. I know Emerge Americas is a big part of that, not just for the conference, but the fact that now folks there's a greater awareness more than ever about Miami, what Miami is about, and Emerge Americas is a huge part of driving tourism back, to Miami, and not just tourism, but business tourism as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and again, the right kind of tourism, right? In the sense that
yes.
The folks that are bringing in, they're having their management meetings, they're having their board of directors meeings in conjunction with Emerge Americas. They're actually already having a significant amount of events that have nothing to do with Emerge Americas that they're planning around the same time. And that's exactly what we want. No, and you've put it very well. I think if you take a look at the impact that Art Basel has had, I grew up in Miami. I don't remember Miami being an art capital. And I think this is all really directly related to Art Basel. So I think that having said that, Art Basel, as important as it is for our community, art is collected by a portion of our population. What we're doing really impacts everybody. So we hope and do expect it to be to have a significant impact in our community.
Manny, we have a couple of minutes left in our conversation today, and we will bring you back. We have to find a way of getting you back on the show, especially as we get closer to next year's event. But I want to ask you a question here. It's let's say it's today is September 9th, but it's 2020, 5 years from now. What do you see, my friend?
Well, I mean, I think there will no longer be a question whether the question that you just asked me, are we going to become a tech hub, would have been already well established. I think that you will already have, I think that Emerge Americas and everything that is happening around us, not just Emerge Americas, but like I said before, the Knight Foundation, all the incubators and accelerators, the work that the universities are doing, the focus and the shifting in focus, whether it's Tech Runway up in Boca, Nova, what they're doing with their new buildings, et cetera. I think that our South Florida corridor would absolutely become one of those naturals, and I think you'll see a significant amount of more employment. I think the recruiting of highly sophisticated tech jobs will be a lot easier, et cetera. So I absolutely see us as a great, one of the great tech hubs, right at the same par as New York and London, et cetera.
Well, I think all of you can attest to the fact that it's very obvious to me, and I know to all of you, why Manny is the recipient of the 2015 Lifetime Achievement Award presented by FIU's Hall of Fame, and well-deserved, my friend. And as we part this morning, is there one small tip or takeaway that you want to leave the listeners with this morning?
Well, first of all, I just want to reiterate how humbled and honored I am for FIU to have selected me for this award. And the only tip that I tell, particularly when I speak to kids, et cetera, is I've just found out in my life that the harder that I work and the more that I prepare, the luckier that I get. So go ahead and get lucky by working very hard.
Working hard and
really appreciate you having me on.
No, and following your passion, and that's what you've done, my friends, and it's a great example to all of us, and that's why what you're doing is so contagious.
Thank you, Pete.
Have a great day, and thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, once again, Manny Medina, founder and managing partner, Medina Capital, and, of course, founder of Emerge Americas, the recipient of the 2015 Lifetime Achievement Award presented by FIU's Hall of Fame, and that event will be happening October 29th. There's a big gala at the Adrian Arts Center. More information on that as we get closer.